9 facts about your body that you 100% need to know if you want to finally stop struggling and make some real progress with your health, fitness, and well-being. So a lot of us think that we're doing everything right. We look at our food and our nutrition, we exercise hard, we do everything that we're told to do, and we work at it really hard and we keep pushing, but we still don't see results. So this little kind of video is really designed to help you understand some of the underpinning knowledge as to why you're not seeing the progress that you want. So when we really get to grips with what I'm about to tell you, you'll see why a lot of the mainstream advice you get, eat less, do more, calories in, calories out, work harder, no pain, no gain, all that kind of mainstream messaging that you get bombarded with day in, day out, is not only ineffective, but may even be causing more harm and slowing your progress down. So I hope you find this interesting. So these are all science-based facts. There's no denying anything that I'm about to teach you, but I want to hopefully will give you a different slant, a different angle on how your body and brain really work, so that you can really make some progress this year. So the first one we need to know is that you have two key parts to your nervous system. And it's those parts that dictate how your body reacts and responds to the environment and the world around you. So that will dictate how much energy you have, how your body moves, how you think, how you feel, whether you feel stressed or whether you feel relaxed, whether you can sleep or whether you're wide awake all night churning over problems. It's down to which of these nervous system branches you're in. So we have one called the sympathetic branch. And this is essentially, if we simplify this right down, this is your stress system. The main aim of this one is to protect you. And it does that by the fight, flight, freeze response. So you either get angry and want to fight, or you feel defensive and want to run away, or you can't make your mind up, so you freeze. In everyday life, that shows up as frustration, irritability, feeling defensive, feeling like you're being picked on, procrastination, putting things off until Monday, until payday, until whenever. Those are very common indicators of the fight, flight, freeze system. The opposite one to that is called the parasympathetic branch, and that effectively is your recovery system. And that helps you rest, digest, recover, metabolize your food, let your body heal, create energy. It's kind of designed to, let's say, help you rest, but also to relax. So you can see how these two systems are in direct opposition to each other. Now, ideally, we should spend more time in the parasympathetic recovery system, with the occasional dip into the stress system when we're faced with problems. So kind of like a cat, if you like. So we spend a lot of time relaxing, something happens that we need to deal with, we then kick into gear, you have a burst of energy, you deal with the problem, and then you recover again. What most of us are doing now, and this is creating a lot of ill health and a lot of problems, is that we're spending most of our day and even our night in the sympathetic stress system. And we occasionally dip into the parasympathetic when we can, when we eat something, when we buy something, when we go somewhere. But as soon as that thing is over, we're straight back into that stress system. So our body is constantly on high alert, ready to either fight, flight, or freeze. And that's what causes burnout. That's what causes inflammation and irritability within your body. It causes your brain to feel frazzled because we're not recovering. And because you're not recovering, you're not changing. Your body is stressed and uptight the whole time. You know, if you imagine tensing a muscle as hard as you can and then keeping it tense for even just a minute, you get tired really quick. And that's what tends to happen with our entire bodies when we're in that stress sympathetic system. All right, fact number 2, there are 4 distinct brain areas that will control which of those nervous systems you're in. So Obviously, the picture here, this isn't representative. Your brain isn't these colors, but it does look like this. And if you were to take a cross section of the brain, you would see these distinct areas. The one down here in kind of like turquoisey blue, this is the brainstem and the cerebellum. And really, this main job here is to monitor your physical safety. So it's using your senses to keep an eye on the environment around you and to constantly evaluate your safety. And if it determines that you are safe, it's happy. It returns back to being calm and relaxed. But if it determines any kind of stress or threat, it will kick into that sympathetic nervous system. The pinky fleshy bit here, this is called the limbic system. It's commonly called the monkey brain or the animal brain, the chimp brain. And this job is to monitor your emotional safety and connection with the people around you. So again, it's looking out for more social threats. And exactly the same as the reptile brain down here. If it determines a problem, it will trigger that stress system. If everything's fine, it will allow you to relax. And the green bit here is what we call the neocortex. And this is split into two. It's split into a left and a right side. The left side is typically very logical, very organized, kind of really based in systems and science. So it likes things in straight lines, in clear boxes, everything to be organized and straightforward. The right-hand side of it is more creative, a bit more random, a bit more based in freedom. It's a bit more artistic. And ideally, those two will be balanced. If there's an imbalance, if one is dominant, again, that can trigger stress. It can carry irritability. A lot of issues like OCD can be caused by that imbalance. So we're really looking at getting all four parts of your brain to work together as a cohesive unit. They kind of work as a hierarchy. So if this reptile brain down the bottom here determines stress, that will override everything. Your physical safety is always more important than your emotional safety and your changes. If the pink bit, the chimp brain, detects emotional threat, again, that will override anything you're trying to do. However, if both of these are satisfied, happy, and content, the human part of your brain, the bit that knows what to do, that wants things to change, that wants to eat healthier, that wants to exercise more, that wants to make more changes, that's then kind of allowed to do its job. So we really need to kind of make sure that we're satisfied with these brains to allow the human brain to do its job. So if you know what to do but don't do it, it's because the green bit knows what's to do, but either of these two brains here have a more pressing priority that will take precedence over the changes you're trying to make. That's why you keep doing what you're trying to do. Everything affects everything. Your body is one integrated whole unit. So the way you think affects the way you move, which affects how you feel, and every combination of those things. Your biology impacts your psychology, which impacts your social life, which impacts your biology. Everything is linked. The way your shoulder moves dictates how your spine moves, dictates how your hips move, dictates how your knees and ankles move. And again, that can be reversed. The way your organs are functioning dictates how your brain feels, vice versa. Everything is linked. We can't just take things in isolation and then hope that will have a big effect on the rest of our body. Everything is linked to everything. Fact number 4, there are 4 sets of needs that you must satisfy. So if we come back to that brain section here, and we said that these 2 parts of your brain have to be satisfied. They have to have their needs met. Now their needs, there are physical needs. You need to be hydrated, well nourished. You need good sensory input from your eyes, from your ears, from your touch. You need to rest. Your body needs to recover, and we need what we call structural integrity and balance. So your body needs to be functioning together. Your front of your body musculature needs to be as strong as the back of your body. Your left side needs to be balanced to your right side. If any of those are lacking, again, that will trigger that stress system, which will keep you stuck. We have emotional needs, we have social needs, and we have needs that need to be fulfilled if we are wanting to change. When we don't have those, our brain again will perceive a threat and it will trigger that stress reaction, and or will use less than helpful coping strategies, sweet foods, inactivity, shopping, alcohol, in order to give you a short-term fix of those needs. So even though you know that alcohol, for example, isn't the smartest strategy long term, it may well fulfill one of those needs. So it may fulfill your hydration needs. It may give you a chance to rest and switch your brain off. It may increase your connection if you're out for a drink with friends. Anything that we do that we're trying to stop, any bad habits we're trying to overcome, will at some level be fulfilling at least one, probably more, of these sets of needs. And that's why we continue to do it, even though we tell ourselves it's not something that we want. When you understand what those needs are, you can put in more helpful and more skillful methods, which means you don't need to fall back on those unhelpful, unhealthy ones. All right, fact number 5. You will always prioritize safety and certainty over change and growth. So this is about meeting those needs. When you say you're self-sabotaging, which is very, very common to hear, it's your body and brain's way of ensuring safety. So you're trying to change your diet, you're trying to restrict your calories or do something. Your body's determining a threat because it's not getting the nourishment you need, therefore you binge eat. It's your brain's and body's way of staying safe. You perceive that your body's starving through a lack of calories and lack of nourishment, so you eat more in order to ensure that you're safe. Again, once we realize that, understand what's really happening, we can then give you different, more effective strategies in order to fulfill those needs first. Stress. This is the big topic, right? Stress is made up of 3 things. So this is going to massively simplify this down. There is a longer stress less program that I can give you information on. But if we boil it right down, it comes down to these 3 things. How you perceive an event, plus the meaning you give to it, plus your perceived ability to deal with that event. If you change any or all of those things, your stress levels change too. So you may not be able to change the stressful thing, but you can certainly change how you perceive it, the meaning that you're giving to it, and your ability to deal with it and to manage it. All of those things are completely under your influence, under your control, and you can learn quickly and easily how to do that. And that will massively reduce your stress levels, giving your body a chance to recover, to rest, and to recharge. Number 7, there are 5 brain states that you can be in and that you are in at any time during the day. Now, if you can measure your brain activity, again, there's ways of doing it very, very simply. And it can tell you which of these 5 states you're in. Life is hard when you're in the wrong brain state for what you're trying to do. So alpha state at the top is what we call being in the flow or in the zone. Everything feels easy. Your brain is flowing. You're hitting every mark you need to hit. All your jokes are landing. Everything makes sense and you're just really in your element. That's what we call in alpha state. Gamma is more creative. It's about problem solving, and you can see the readouts that you would get here are completely different. They look different because your brain is functioning differently. So I guess the way to look at this is like gears of a car. Sometimes you need to be in first gear, sometimes you need to be in 5th gear. Your brain's just the same. If you're on the motorway in 1st, you're in trouble. If you're in town in a traffic jam in 5th, you're in trouble. And that's often where we struggle. We want to be in this delta sleep, rest and recovery phase at night, but our brain's in this gamma problem solving state, and that's why we can't sleep. Or it's the middle of the day, you're trying to rest and recover and go into delta, but you're at work, so you need to be in gamma. It's that mismatch that causes us to be stressed, to find life hard, and to find life a struggle. Beta here is our kind of energy saving, the day-to-day pattern. This is where you just repeat things. Beta is the state you're in when you drive to work, but you have no recollection of getting there. It's when you're kind of on autopilot. Again, that has times when that's very, very useful, and it has times where it's very, very unuseful. So beta is like your kind of third gear in your car. It's very easy to over rev it or very easy to under rev it. Theta is your learning state. This is where you're highly suggestible, and hypnosis is designed to take you into theta state. Your brain's like an open sponge. So kids are in theta state a lot. And that's why their learning capabilities are so strong, because that theta state, is really about taking things on board, changing, learning, developing. And like I said before, delta is about sleep, rest, and recovery. So when you're trying to in bed, nod off, it's delta you need to be in. And again, there are ways, methods, tactics, and strategies where you can very easily flick between these 5 brain states. Once you know how to do it, it can be quite quick and quite easy. You can very easily go from beta, when you're running a job that you know inside out, into alpha and into gamma. It's relatively straightforward. Like I say, we struggle when we're in the wrong state for what we're trying to do. Number 8, along those same lines, your body goes through what's called circadian rhythms. Now, this is your kind of cycles. Roughly speaking, we have 90-minute cycles that go between peak activity and rest. I'm sure you know already about your sleep cycles, where you fluctuate between light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Again, it's that 90-minute pattern, but that also follows throughout the daytime as well. We also, and there's increasing research to really back this up, we are massively affected by the sun, moon, and seasons as well. It does affect how our bodies function. Obviously, females have the menstrual cycles to contend with as well. Your organs, your body systems have different high and low points throughout the day. So, for example, your liver has periods in a day where it's very, very active, and it has periods in the day where it's very, very inactive. Your stomach does the same. Your kidneys do the same. Your pancreas does the same. Everything has this up and down cycle. When we fight those cycles, so when our body is trying to come down, but we're trying to force our way through, again, that's where we get burnout and overwhelm. So we struggle when we go against those cycles. When you learn to work with them, again, your energy levels and your productivity and your mood can really go through the roof. And finally, number 9. Oh, no, there's number 10. I need to redo the slide at the start. Number 9. Different hormones and brain chemicals determine how you feel. We have up times, we have down times. And again, with that, your brain and body produce and release different chemicals to make you feel different. So our up chemicals get us going. They really give us that drive, determination, energy to get stuff down. But we also need to balance the down chemicals so we recover. And all of us have different recipes for each of these and require different amounts to feel good. So some people, for example, need more dopamine to feel kind of alive and alert, whereas other people feel better with a bit more adrenaline. Some people calm down by more serotonin, others calm down with more oxytocin. We each have our own unique recipe for how we get up and how we come down. And whether or not we stick to what we're trying to do depends on whether that habit, that program, that plan is satisfying our unique recipe for what makes us tick. If we're getting what we need, it's easy to stick to. And if we're not getting what we need, we're left relying on willpower, stubbornness, and hard work. And again, it's relatively easy to figure out what your unique recipe is. And then finally, we need to understand metabolism. And it's so much more than eat less, move more. It's about what you take in, break down, and utilize that really matters. So there's 3 distinct phases to your energy production. You know, it's not just eat less, move more. And that's one of the biggest things that will hold people back, is that mindset. When we think more about metabolism and those 3 stages, what we take in, so our food, our drink, our toxins, our energy from other people in the environment around us, all affects the energy that we put into our bodies. So it's not just food. How we break it down, the state our gut health is in, whether we're actually able to do anything with the food that we're in. So for example, if we have high levels of the stress hormone cortisol in our gut, we could eat a perfect diet, you could design the world's most perfect diet, but if your system is flooded with cortisol and your gut isn't healthy, you won't be able to break down that food, much less extract and use the nutrients contained within it. So your gut health is really, really important. So if you're eating a really healthy diet, but you're not seeing the results you want, it may be because your gut isn't healthy. And so therefore you can't actually use what you're eating. And then how you use it, your energy output, your exercise, your activity, as well as your safety needs that we talked about earlier. So it's how your body uses itself, whether it's concerned with protecting and defending what you've got or making changes. And all of those things combined will affect your metabolism. So it's so much more than eat less, move more. It's about creating a healthy body that's in line and a cohesive unit with your brain, with your nervous system, with your digestive system, with your muscles. Everything is linked to everything. So you can't just eat less, because that will affect your gut, that will affect your energy input. You then move more, you're not giving your body a chance to rest and recover. So you're out of balance that way. I hope that makes sense. I hope those 10 facts are giving you some little eye-openers as to why you may be struggling with things. So all of those things have a huge impact on your energy, on your confidence, on your mindset, on your motivation. When you can change even just one of those things, you really, really will start to see more progress with a lot less stress and a lot less hassle, which can only be a good thing. I hope that makes sense. As ever, any questions, comments, or feedback you have, please let me know. Is there anything you're not sure about or that didn't make sense? Send me a message and I'll help to explain it to you. So once you really grasp these 10 things, you can really take control of your health, of your mindset, of your motivation, and see a lot more progress and a lot more success. All right, for now, that's enough from me. Take care, and I'll catch up with you guys very, very soon.